3, 2, 1.
What is going on, Southwest ISD? Welcome back to your favorite podcast, the only podcast focusing on Southwest ISD athletics. This is Scoreboard. My name is Brandon Medina, and I am here with your athletic director, Mr. Peter Wagner. As always, we are talking district championships. We're talking fire and armor recaps. We're talking kick-ins for chickens.
No, we didn't do that this time.
See,
but both teams won.
but both teams did get canes.
They
So
did.
Shout out to them. Not a sponsor of the podcast, but hopefully we'll be at some point. But we do appreciate you tuning in. That is Peter Wagner. How are we doing, sir?
Doing well. How are you doing, sir?
Good, man. Doing well. We just we have a
Your Vikings lost this week.
one time.
Just letting
It
you
is
know.
what it is.
Just reminding you.
You've been waiting 6 weeks for this.
It just actually popped in my head.
But we have a lot to get into. We have some district champions that we got to get a shout out to, who also will be featured in our Beyond the Arches segment on YouTube. But talk to me about kind of the year as we're starting to go into playoffs, starting to come a close into kind of the fall sports, going into the winter sports. What are your thoughts? What are your takeaways from this year so far?
Like we've said over the past couple of weeks, I think what's really cool is there's 14 opportunities for our teams to make it to postseason competition, and 12 of those have done that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty darn cool. And a great job to our coaches and everybody else for making that happen. We're also clinched our second district championship out of those sports.
There we go.
The Southwest volleyball team clinched at the very minimum a share of the 28 5A district championship. On Tuesday night with their win against Win.
There you go.
They win against Win
That's
to
just what we
win
say.
a district championship.
There you go.
Yes. And so they fire and armor volleyball game on Friday night, tomorrow night at Legacy. And if the Dragons win that one, they will be the outright district champions and the number one seed in the playoffs. So great job by them. I think they have a little bit higher and loftier goals now, obviously, to win that first round game and then see what happens in that second round game.
That's where
and
they've
everything.
stopped.
That's where they've.
And it's both times Rouse. Is that who it is?
Yep, and we're looking at the bracket. It'll be Highlands probably in the first round, and then if we get by Highlands, then it'll be probably the winner of Smithson Valley or Rouse
Oh my gosh.
and everything. So
Here we go. Third time's the charm. Here we go.
third
This is
time
it.
could be the charm.
We have.
Yes.
We went, like I said, I did Beyond the Arches with them. So we talked with the coach and staff. We talked with the team, and I will say this: massive changes from last year's undefeated district champion to this year, as far as seniors moving on, people taking up leadership roles.
Youngins.
Even more changes moving forward in the future.
Mhm.
They have a very young squad, but man, it's a testament to the coaching staff to lose on such great players and then find more
Well,
leadership.
it
coming
helps
back
when you
like
didn't lose Addison Bartlett.
Addison Bartlett. Yeah.
I mean, like
Superstar.
Addison's like literally two players because she plays the front and then she sets in the back, and you're off. You know what I mean?
There's also very. I'm not.
So it's not easy. It's we're gonna be good again,
Yeah.
but we're gonna be missing one of the top probably 10 players in the city of San Antonio too,
correct.
and everything. So, but we still got her,
Yeah, we do.
and
Domination.
they're still going, and so look forward to seeing them. Like I said, they got this one, but they really, I think, Legacy's a big game. So if they win that one, they're the outright district champions. And then the next week on Tuesday to round it out against McCollum, I think that one's just for pride that they want to beat McCollum, because if they don't, that'll be the one team that swept them. You know what I mean? So good luck to them. Good luck to Legacy as they culminate their season in the next couple of days, and off to the playoffs for the Dragons.
That's right. Well, when we look past volleyball, another sport has come to a close with cross country. Talk to me about kind of how cross country did this year.
So the boys and girls from Southwest made it again. That's 2 years in a row, and that might have been that's probably the first time that's ever happened. And then you add to it that the Titans win as a girls team again, very much like last year, and they had two competitive boys that win as well.
And who are the Titan girls led by?
Alicia Galvez, and
That was
that I
superstar.
was getting to I was getting to the highlight of the regional was the highlight and the heartbreaker. So Alicia got out-leaned to finish, and she missed going to state by 0.01 seconds. And but what a great athlete, what a great competition, great competitor. Really excited for Alicia as she gets ready to go to Sam Houston State to run cross country and track, and looking forward to a great track season from Alicia, but really from all of them. There's a lot of talented runners in there with the new track district. That'll be fun to see how everything goes as they move into that next sport.
I'll tell you what, Alicia Galvez, superstar. Addison Bartlett, superstar.
And they're two awesome people to just talk to. Yeah. Like they just lots of energy. Alicia's all over the place. She's in the student section she's in the Coliseum at Legacy. Yep. She's running that. She's all over the place. All about Legacy and all about, it's great to see she's about others.
Yeah.
And it's not just about her.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, speaking of the student sections were running rampant. We're going crazy at the Fine Armor game. And you saw athletes from both sides coming out to support their own athletics and football teams, and that was a great game. And talk to me about kind of, we dedicated Frazier Field. There was a busy day for many. We had the first time we got to use that scoreboard, the first time we got to see kind of what this new look looks like. And I think it was exciting for so many people in the community, and I think the Fine Armor Bowl was a massive success because of it.
I think that my takeaway was really what a quality investment the boards were, the video boards.
I agree, man.
And
there were a few catches that people were looking for replays, and you were able to see them.
Yes, and not just that, but we were able to really, I look at the coaches' appreciation, the work that you all did with that 1.5-minute video, but from Dez talking about his dad, who was a coach, to AJ talking about the young Molina, but the Scobie kids and the McAuliffe kids telling their truth from McAuliffe, talking about, hey, thanks coaches. I mean, that's a big deal, and they got to do that, and they got a round of applause from everybody. But then you had your punt, pass, and kick kids, but the video board allows it to flow.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It was
it feels it made the game feel like a big game.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yeah.
It really did. You had the get loud, you had all the defense, all that stuff is great. And I mean, clearly it worked. You even had Greg Simmons in the booth with us. I mean, it doesn't get much bigger in San Antonio sports lore than that.
Yeah.
And I mean, you look forward to the next home game for the Dragons. We'll be having the radio come out. There's just so many more opportunities now that we have the press box, video boards. And with that, we're able to produce a better product, not just off the field, but the logistics off the field, not the stuff that doesn't happen on the field.
Yep. And so I think that was my takeaway, in that we were able to better showcase what we were trying to do. It wasn't just hey, everybody look, because most people aren't just looking if they don't know what's going on. But then there's the video, and you're they'll be captivated for a couple of seconds.
The walkouts were so awesome. It was so fun to play kind of where we were with the Metallica song, right? Playing, here we are, Game 7.
Yeah.
You had both walkouts being played. Obviously, both stands filled, because it's not this is a home rivalry, right, altogether. And it was awesome to see the Coliseum kids come out. It was awesome to see what we saw with the Dungeon, right? They both had their theming down pat. Everybody was dressed up. So I think,
and then they had the third quarter doing it together.
Yeah, it was it was a fun time for all, and I really think another great.
I thought we were headed for an interesting game for a while there. With like we talked about beforehand,
we kept saying it was going to be defensive.
It was going to be a matter of can Legacy slow down the big play and get some turnovers, and then that's what they did. You know what I mean? That's in the first half. That's what they did. In the second half, that's not what they necessarily did.
We said slow them down, get turnovers, and then we said, however, if there's a big play to be made, you even said you're not going to be able to stop all the big plays. There's going to be chunk plays that happen. And it's just the chunk plays that led to a Dragon victory.
But how about the Titans coming out with the Ken's 5 play of the week, though?
They sure did.
that was something else with Ross coming in and then just turned around. I asked Alex at the end of the game. I was like, "All right, so what really happened?" He's like, "Well, I was supposed to pull it, but I gave it." So he's like, he just gave it back to me. And I was like, "That worked.
It worked,
You
yeah.
scored. Good
Yeah.
job," and stuff like that. So great job by coaches, kids. I mean, obviously somebody unfortunately has to lose in those games and stuff like that. I mean, but I think one positive thing, obviously you have the win with the Dragons, but the one thing that they were able to do that they have not been able to, Coach Franco and I were talking about this probably on Sunday, was they put together a drive. Like
Yeah.
they sustained a couple of drives.
And that's what we kind of
one
talked
them-
about last week too, about could they do that?
Could they do that? Is like, because they either
Score in 3 or 4
score in
plays.
2 or 3
Yeah.
plays or punt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they don't punt a lot, but that's the they're gonna have to be able to do that as they get ready to play probably Seguin, New Braunfels, or Wagner, depending on where they fall in the next couple of weeks.
Is that who first place in district will be playing?
Well, I mean, they still got to play Jay.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And so,
But I'm saying if you were to win district, that's
yeah, you're
Seguin,
probably
Wagner,
looking
Braunfels.
Seguin,
It-
Wagner, New
As a
Braunfels.
coach, and of course, all great teams. I'm not trying to all belittle any of them, but who do you think is, I guess, a tougher matchup out of those 3 that we'd be like, oh, this could give problems if this was to be the first round draw?
I would probably say Wagner.
Okay.
I mean, they're ground and
And I
pound.
know we're looking forward, like we got to still.
Yeah, we got
Jay.
a big J.
we
They got a
Jay,
huge
yeah.
J game
For sure.
But I was reading about Wagner and they got a big game against Seguin this week, and they've thrown the ball 30 times all year.
Oh my
You know what
gosh!
I mean?
Whoa.
And so they run the inverted bone, but they're talented. Like they got kids that can run. They can run with the skill guys from Southwest.
Gotcha.
And so it's a matter of, there's some things that they got to do. And I'll tell you this much too, is that was a physical football game
It
last
sure
Friday.
was.
I mean, there was some hitting going on. There was some people that might want to make it happen. So just kudos to the teams. The other thing that I thought was pretty nice was that, after the game, there was kids taking pictures with each other from both sides. You had, there wasn't a whole lot of shenanigans.
No.
That in a game like that can get that way.
Sure.
Kudos to our kids, kudos to our coaches for really, playing the Texas way.
That's right.
And doing it well and really showing the community that the content of our character as well.
Yeah. And it was middle school night. And so when it comes to those middle schools, I was able to talk to one of our special middle school principals about kind of the importance of athletics when it comes to keeping not only a school grounded, but also keeping students excited to come to school. So here's what he had to say. All right. So looking at athletics, why do you think athletics is so important for middle school students specifically?
They're going through so much transitioning in, physically, mentally, socially, at middle school years. They say people have, and this is when I first started education. Wow, if you must be crazy to work in middle school, right? Just because, they go through so many transitions and types of moods and everything like that, right? But one thing that when it comes on to athletics is that they're trying to find themselves and where they can fit in. And that, again, that's them feeling that way, right? And all of our coaches, they used to play the sport, or sports before growing up as well. And as a coach, just being an ex-coach myself, it's like education. The rewarding part of it is that the time and effort that you put in there and the kids commit themselves to it.
Yeah.
And then they perform in whatever competition they're doing. And it's about them getting better. You're better than the day before, okay? And if you have that mentality, we can instill that in our kiddos. I think by the time they transition to high school, they're just much better prepared. And the fact that in athletics, we're starting with so many things, like, for example, baseball and softball now. And then that we also have 6th graders, that we have opportunities for them as well. I think that, that's what our community needs. That's what our kids need, because we need to start them off real young.
Sure.
Because, by the time they they're 5, 6, 7 years old. If they were to be able to be playing and be exposed to sports, I think that there will always be more participation because again, these kids, they're eager and they want that. They're hungry for it.
And so when it comes to athletics, you've been a former coach. We've interviewed plenty of your coaches. They're always so happy to tell us kind of their testimonies about how much they appreciate the kids, appreciate the community. But looking at athletics as a whole, from a coach standpoint, from yourself, and also from a principal standpoint, what life lessons do you think athletics is able to teach students?
Oh, it starts first with being respectful. These again, life is full of up and down, and that's always going to happen no matter what age you are, right? And exposing kids to sports and them not necessarily winning all the time and, but competing, I think it makes them learn how to be persistent, how to have that work ethic, because life, all it's gonna do is give us opportunity for us to work, right?
Yeah.
We work for the rest of our lives, and then, it's the type of lifestyle that we want to live. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, and I think that just parents see the difference that kids are in athletics because they're at home and they conduct themselves differently. They're not caught up in nothing but video games or things like that, and I think it's a sense of responsibility. Every kid that's in athletics feels and senses the sense of responsibility when it comes down to I'm responsible for my team because
making
my
practice,
part, making practice every day that they're here. And again, it's the same thing as what we expect them to come to school every day, right? We want them in school because this is where the learning happens. The same thing in athletics. If they're here in practice every day, they're here at school every day, guess what? They are going to learn. I mean, when they're not in school, it's very difficult for kids to learn. I mean, because it's hard. They don't have the resource and the support outside like they would here in school on campus.
Alrighty, and so this podcast will be coming out, Wagner, after on Friday, right? So looking at it, we would have already played Southwest High School versus Win, right? Going to Win, we're assuming you're going to get a win. That's what we always talk about, right?
Well, they're definitely a heavy favorite. Heavy favorite.
But what we want to talk about, and you and me both are talking about, like, what's going to be kind of the main things we want to hit on the podcast. Legacy against Southside.
That's the biggest game in the district, probably.
You think so? And I think this might be one of the biggest games the year, period. I mean, we're looking at as far as where we're at,
Legacy's
what's on the
next
line.
2 games are gargantuan.
Like must wins.
I don't know that they're must wins. I gotta look at the standings a little bit more, but Legacy's got 2 losses in district.
Yep.
If they for some reason didn't win anymore, they would. I think that Southside lost to Southwest. They lost to South San, and they lost to Nixon, and I would guess that they will lose to Jay in the next couple of weeks, possibly.
Okay.
But currently they would have 3. If you would assume they would have 4, then you would have a 3-way tie for that 4th spot. So technically, they may have already gotten in, but if they would win this one, that would clinch
Help the case to
they would clinch a playoff spot with a win this week.
Legacy.
Yes. And now Southwest has already clinched a home playoff game.
Now, what you told us last week is those 3rd and 4th playoff spots, though, you're going up against.
It's gonna be interesting.
Some tough competition.
Yeah, you're gonna have to play, and it's kind of like in 2007, I asked Coach Elliott, we're going to the Dome to play Judson, and I said, so what do you think, Matt? And he says, well, if they play their B or C game and we play our A game, we might have a chance, but we have to stop them from dancing on us. And I was like, okay. So we're sitting there, and I don't even know. I think that we played our A game at the time up until the first half, and they didn't. And they probably played their B-plus game. So we're a little bit better than that, than what he even gave us our credit for.
Sure.
But I would say the same thing there is that when you're a pretty heavy underdog, and anybody in the city pretty much that plays those 2 teams is going to be an underdog. It's not like oh, they're not. They're one of the top 10 teams in the state of Texas in 5A Division I. And so You're just
Who
gonna
is-
have
who
to
is
bring
that
it.
You're talking about just to make
Piper is number. I
Piper.
think Piper is number 6 in the Harris poll,
sure. Okay.
and Smithson Valley might be 13,
Gotcha.
12, something like that. But the whole district's in the top 30,
Mm.
top 35, just about, and stuff like that. And I think Southwest right now in the Harris poll is running around 33, 35, somewhere in there.
Wow.
And so that I mean, it's a tough district, and they're good, and it is what it is. But I would say that that's why you play the game,
That's right.
and everything. And Legacy's going to go in. They're going to have 2 weeks to prepare. They're going to get a bye week. They're going to be able to, put everything together and put your best foot forward.
Yep.
See what happens.
Well, I will say we are now into the end of a major sport in baseball and in professional sports. We're coming
I was
to
like,
the end.
we didn't even start baseball
No.
yet.
We're coming to an end there, and now it is completely full-on basketball season. Both basketball programs here at Southwest ISD are starting to get going. Talk to me about what your excitement is for basketball and what you're looking forward
I'm
to.
trying to figure out that segue still.
Only because it's October. This
I mean,
is
where did
the
baseball come in?
month.
Where did baseball come into that?
Only because
Is baseball season even on still?
yeah, dude, it's October. This is World Series time right now.
Is it?
You don't watch baseball?
I'm
I
a
thought you'd be a baseball fan.
I'm a Cubs fan. My baseball season
Oh, yeah.
ended sometime
Ended
mid-May.
Probably back before
About May.
that. Yeah.
right around May. I was like, oh, when the high school season ends, the MLB season ends
There
for
you
me
go.
usually.
There you go.
Or I pick it back up if they're winning, but it's not
There you
very
go.
often.
Not very often, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but we're talking about
Still trying to figure out the segue though.
It's all right, dude.
I'm confused.
Sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. You know what I mean? It is what it is, right? Much like baseball.
I want to go back and make sure that we understand something about the legacy football schedule.
Go ahead.
If you're looking to watch a couple of games, you need to come watch the Titans play because the Southside game's huge, and then the next week they go to South San to end their season, and those two games are huge, and they're going to be entertaining football
Is South
games.
San pretty good at football this year?
I mean, sure, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a pretty good record,
Okay.
so I would say yes.
Fair.
They got a couple of good players too that are
Yeah.
being looked at. So I'm just saying that the Titans are pretty good, and they got some big games ahead of them. That if they can win those games, it'll be pretty good too.
Keep creating turnovers and keep feeding James
Yeah,
Ross.
but
That's
I mean that's the game plan,
That's the
right?
game plan.
Create turnovers, give the
feed
ball
James
to Ross.
Yeah, that's the game plan right there.
But then you got the game of the next game will be one of the top games in the last 20 years. And when you look at when you look at the South Side, and you look at records, what's on the line, who it is, historically around here, things like that. You have
say it one more time. Say it
if-
one more
if
time.
one of the one of the top games in the last 20 years.
Oh my gosh, we're
And
talking
there's
about
some
next
people
Friday.
and there's some people that might say the last 30.
Whoa.
You're the news guy. Tell me when the last time Southwest and Jay were both undefeated
yeah.
while they were in district. I'm pretty sure the answer is never.
Never. Yeah, probably.
And so here you go, and it's for the district championship basically and stuff. Assuming both teams win this Friday, like there is a reason why we play games and stuff. So
I think what should happen is if whoever wins this game, right? Taco trucks on Marbach and 604 should shut down. If Jay wins and taco trucks on the other side of 410, you just shut down. It's the battle of the taco trucks. This is it, dude. No, but it's so close. I mean, you got to drive 10 minutes and you're there at Dragon Stadium from John Jay area. Like this is one that I've always wished when I was playing under you, we only scrimmaged them one time in all 4 years that I was with you. And it was once. And they're never in our district. So I don't know the last time that John Jay was ever in our district.
We played them
just because they are so close, yet we've never played.
I'd have to look. I think you're right.
We haven't played them in
because we played Harlan.
competitively.
We played Harlan, but we haven't played them. So
I'm just thinking for
the first 2 years,
so
and
close.
I'd love to look on, and I didn't do my research for this part, but the last time I want to say the last time we played them in a game, I want to say it was 2007, and that was the last time that I think that we were that we didn't play a home game until October.
That's 2007, you said?
Yes.
Wow.
And so that was because that was the 2007 was it rained so hard it flooded the field and it like went through the goalpost.
Oh my!
Like it was almost like 1998, but not quite. Coach Elwood and I watched a John boat float through the goalpost.
Oh,
and everything. So we didn't play a home game until the second game of district, first game of district, something like that. Kind of like this year because of the press box, right?
Yeah.
Well, in that year, and to bring the story to a head real quick, is that's when we beat Jay, and they were pretty good. That's when 2007, I think we went undefeated in the regular season. That's when we lost to Judson, and we beat Jay in overtime at Ferris.
And so here we are again undefeated.
And then here we are undefeated.
Let's
Yeah,
see,
but obviously they weren't.
They weren't, yeah.
I guess at the time technically they were because it was the first game of the season. But
Let's guess. But looking at things proximity wise, for those listening, right? You could get to John Jay from Southwest High School about the same time you could get to Legacy from Southwest High School. I mean, they are a close brother sister over there that like people look at Crewald Elementary.
Well, and you look
country.
at Scobie, you just
Crewald,
hang a
all
left
that.
out of Scobie and you're there in 5 minutes.
But I'm saying all of that, right? I grew up right there in Big Country. If you were on the Crewald side of Pew Road, one side went to John Jay, one side went to Southwest. Like this is.
It's a big game.
It's not just like you said, one of the biggest games in the 20 years. I completely agree. 30 years, I don't know, way farther than my lifespan. 2 years farther than my lifespan, but 20 years for sure. And I know it's a game that I've been circling on my calendar. Me, Roger, like all of the alumni that work in our office are like,
well, and we're already getting media. We're already getting media credentials for
and
it.
It's the day after Halloween. Something freaky crazy is going to happen. You already know how it goes.
So I mean, 2 big games. I mean, you can't go wrong by this week going and watching the Titans and against Southside, but can't go wrong headed over to South San the next week to watch the Titans and the Bobcats.
Yep.
But then you turn around, or you can come watch Jay and Southwest. But big games, and to be honest, from what I saw in the Harris poll this last week, or maybe it was between the 2 polls, one of them had Southwest as the underdog, 3-point underdog.
Oh wow! At home, home dogs.
Mm-hmm.
They should make hot dogs.
That's what they said.
A lot of home dogs. And hot dogs.
That's what it had in the poll that I read.
So here's the question before we move on and start closing out the show. You said 3-point underdogs, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's Mr. Wagner's take? What's the score going to be next Friday for Southwest and John Jay?
I know Gary Gutierrez doesn't listen to this, so I would say probably the Dragons by 2 touchdowns.
Oh, wow.
If 2 touchdowns.
Okay, and then Southside Legacy, biggest game for Legacy this season.
I think that Legacy wins by probably 2 touchdowns tomorrow night.
Okay.
And then against South San, I think that's going to be interesting because it's a
Thursday game?
It's a Friday game.
Oh, it's a Friday. Oh, they're away.
They're away, right. But that one's going to be
South San is always rocking too.
It's kind of like when I see that game. You're an ESPN guy, college football guy.
Yeah.
I see that game, so you'll kind of respect this analogy.
Let me hear it first.
I see that game as more of like a backyard brawl, like a West Virginia Pit game.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Like nasty,
grinded
out
this kind of nasty, grinded out. Like it's gonna be who
makes less mistakes. That's the biggest thing.
That's the biggest thing. That and just who's gonna be like, who can keep their composure enough when like it's that highest stakes.
Battle of the trenches.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and just being able to compose yourself to like make it happen.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I look at that field and James Ross is in a gold and green jersey, that makes me a lot more comfortable.
Absolutely. That dude's a dude, man.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, hey, anything else you want to say before we get out of here? Any highlights for your Dragons of the Week? Titans of the Week?
Well, first of all, good luck to boys basketball who started their season. Got the first girls basketball scrimmage on Saturday, both Legacy and Southwest. So good luck to the girls basketball teams. Good luck to the boys basketball teams as they get started. Congratulations to all those who are ending their seasons. And then big shout out to our two Warriors of the Week.
Yep.
And that would be Haley Friesenhahn from Southwest of the Dragon Warrior. She also ran in the district cross country meet, started basketball, was at the district tennis tournament. So, the only thing she doesn't do is swim and dive, I guess. And play wide receiver or football or in some way.
And even then, maybe.
But you never know. But great job by her. And then at Legacy, the Titan Warrior of the Week was Milagros Robles Martinez, basketball player. She also has done many sports. She's a manager, trainer for the Titans, and then plays basketball and things like that. So does a great job there. So congratulations to them. Check out on X our top 10 every Wednesday when we put that out. Top 10 Warriors of the week and things like that. And congratulations to all of them. Keep up the great work.
Yep, absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Scoreboard Podcast. That is Mr. Peter Wagner, your athletic director. I am Brandon Medina, and as always, we are
Southwest.
One.